yeah, I put my dad in the street against a heavyweight.
I've gone back to the dad. I've punched him a few more times.
5 blokes outside my front door. Can you come and help
One
me?
hell of a fucking story, so stay tuned.
This is Colin McGuigan for AFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I'm joined today by Harlem Eubank. How are you doing, Harlem?
Good, mate. Excited for Mick's fight here in Belfast. His return. Yeah, it's been a good week. Excited for him to do the business.
What have you seen from Michael in camp? You work so closely with him. You're probably the closest with him in the gym. You're together non-stop. You're actually like a married couple at times, to be fair. That's how I look at you. What have you seen from him in this camp we're gonna see Michael Conlon 2.0?
Some experience. You know, we're always pushing each other, and you know, he motivates me to push harder. His work ethic is, you know, one of the best I've seen. So we continue to push each other and drive each other forward. But he's got that wealth of experience, and you know, his last fight only gave him more experience, and you know, gave him different things to overcome, and mentally stronger. I think he's, you know, he knows himself. He's gone straight back into a very, very tough fight in Mariaga, you know. So he knows himself, and he knows what he's capable of, and he wants the big fights in boxing, and this is going to be a big fight. This is another test, and he's the type of character that continuously seeks them challenges, and you know, that's what you got to love about him. If you're a boxing fan, you know, Mick is a true fighter, and he's prepared. He's prepared for the test come Saturday.
You think he'll go out and shine on Saturday night and prove that Michael Conlon is a world title challenger?
Most definitely. We all know he's at that level, and people saw in the last fight exactly, you know, what level he can fight at, and I think this weekend's another chance for him to go out and show that, and I think he's going to shine bright on Saturday night.
I was saying to Kurt, I've said this to Mick, there's a certain like camaraderie around the booth gym at the moment. It's just kind of taken off over the past maybe year or so. What is it that's changed in the gym, or is it just with the added personalities in there? Because you all seem like you're all just one big team, all working together for the same goal.
Yeah, I think, you know, when you're working so hard behind the scenes, I think it's just a case of at some point, you know, from the outside, it's going to look like things are moving forward and things are changing, you know. But the reality is that the work's being put in for years, and sometimes it takes a while for things to click together. But if you keep that dedication and persistence, then you know, them changes and improvements are gonna take place. And I think you're seeing a lot of boys that are working very hard together, and you know, high-level fighters dragging, you know, everyone up with their work rate and application. And I think you're just seeing the result of a lot of hard work. You know, move the doors and you know, and improvements come as a result of that work rate and dedication behind the scenes over a number of years.
If we're talking about your last fight, it ended in bizarre fashion. It was against a very tough opponent. It was a big step up for you because a lot of people maybe didn't even realise he knocked out Mauricio Lara, so he's a very good fighter. How did you find that whole experience? Because at the end it looked as if you were dazed, wasn't sure if you were going to get back up, you didn't know anything about the shot that came in. Talk to us a bit about that.
Yeah, this is a tough challenge to take on 2 weeks' notice. I knew it was going to be tough, and I knew that, you know, the public didn't necessarily know how big the challenge was, you know. But I'm a true fighter, and I want to take on these challenges. And you know, I took on a Mexican who's knocked out the lights of Mauricio Lara. I wanted to take on that challenge and adapt, and I did that. I knew it was going to be tough, and you know, I rode out the tough moments, frustrated him a lot, boxed his head off at points and really frustrated him to the point where he had to try and land blows after the referee had called for break on 3 different occasions, and the second occasion was with 3 clean shots after the break. So yeah, it was just a case after that. It was unexpected. I think it was more shock. I don't think I was necessarily hurt. I think it was just a shock of being struck when you're not expecting it. Hands are down, you step back as the referee instructed. So I think it was more the shock. And then, while I was recouping myself, I wanted to make sure I was 100% before I went back at him. And as soon as I was ready, I did just that and went back at him and continued to win the rounds and continued to hurt him at times. And the third time, the referee finally got hold of the fight and abided by the rules of boxing.
If we're talking about big fights this weekend, there's another big fight happening. Will you have one eye on Dalton Smith's fight this weekend in Sheffield?
I don't think I'll really be watching it, to be honest. I'll be, all in on mixed fight. Yeah, I'm not really going to be watching that fight, but listen, I think I should be first in line for the British. But if the rankings haven't, the people that put people in line for them fights, if they don't see that the same as I do, then that's not up to me. It's my job to do my job in the ring, and that's where I'm doing the work and showing people what I can do. So whether it's the British, Europeans, and beyond, I'm ready for them challenges. So I'll take the fights that are presented to me.
Finally, before I let you go, obviously we're on the brink of a massive announcement. Your cousin Chris against Conor Benn. Do you think there's an opportunity for you to maybe appear on that undercard? Is that something you'd be interested in?
Most definitely. I think that makes a lot of sense, to be involved in that event. So much history, on that night, on that occasion. Both of the dads being involved is necessary, I think, to really capture that nostalgic value. And I'd love to be involved in that, and I think it makes sense for me to be involved in that. Making my way into this boxing game also. I'd love to fight on that card.
I'm sure we'd all love to see you, Harlem. Well, thanks a million for joining me, and we'll do this again soon. Thank you, mate.
Yeah, I put my dad in the street against a heavyweight.
I've gone back to the dad. I've punched him a few more times.
5 blokes outside my front door. Can you come and help
One
me?
hell of a fucking story, so stay tuned.
Welcome, Team Everlast, to the Team Everlast Fitness app. Download the Everlast Fitness app and find your greatness within.